Donald Trump illegally bombed Iran. Then his team claimed he was not at war with Iran. Then Trump threatened more attacks and floated regime change. Then he claimed there was a ceasefire in the war he had just entered. Then he said the war his team said wasn't a war should be called the 12-Day War. Then he said everyone would stop shooting at each other, but everyone kept shooting at each other because, according to Trump, Israel and Iran, and this is an exact presidential quote, don't know what the they're doing. So I guess my question is, when's the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony? For more on this, it's time for a closer look. You guys, Trump is very upset. You see, his MAGA coalition is very split over the war in Iran, and polling suggests any U.S. military involvement in the Middle East is wildly unpopular. So after Trump bombed Iran on Saturday, he quickly tried to claim there was a ceasefire, but Israel and Iran kept attacking each other, and it really pissed Trump off.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Whoa, talk about dropping a big load. I gotta say, even having zero standards of expectations for Trump, it's still surprising to see the president drop an F-bomb on the White House grounds. Remember when Biden whispered it to Obama and everyone on the right lost their minds? Sorry, I should have bleeped that. Although from now on, we're gonna use the Trump clip as our bleep. So it'll sound like this. Everyone lost their minds. Is that better? Also, I've just been told, if you're watching at home, that they're gonna bleep it anyway, so. Also, I'm shocked Trump would hand us a clip we could so easily use out of context. Like, obviously, I'm gonna end this closer look by saying something like, Trump and his team started a war they couldn't control and then freaked out because...
They don't know what the they're doing.
See, it's too easy. It's too easy. I'm also a little surprised that Trump would drop an F-bomb on camera because he's usually so concerned about optics. For example, just last week, he wouldn't say the word erection when construction crews were installing new flagpoles on the White House lawn.
Let's have a good, they call it a lifting. They also use another word, but I'm not going to use that word. You know what that is? The word, it starts with an E. You know what the word is? If I ever used it, I'd be run out of town by you people.
Oh, come on, Donald. We're all mature. We know what an erection is. It's what you get when you want to... Now, let's step back for a second and remember how this all started. We had a diplomatic agreement with Iran that stopped it from developing a nuclear weapon. Key allies and world powers signed on, and international inspectors certified that Iran was following the deal. But there was just one problem. The person responsible for that deal was a Democrat, and not just any Democrat, the Democrat that scares Donald Trump the most, a Democrat by the name of Obama.
Yes, we can.
So when Trump became president, he ripped up the deal.
I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal. Think of this. Obama paid $150 billion for a short-term deal. He gave $1.8 billion in cash. You ever see $1 million like at a casino floor or something in $100 bills? It's a lot. It's like the size of this, right?
He's such a man of the people. You guys ever see $1 million on a casino floor? Normal stuff, you know, it's all laid out in $100 bills. You've seen it. And you grab some of the bills and you go up to your golden penthouse. He knows what I'm talking about. And then you take a dump on your golden toilet and then you wipe with the $100 bills and then you go up to the roof, you know, and you get in your private helicopter. It's got your name on the side of it. And then you fly to your private beach club. Anyway, that's why I ripped up the Iran deal. Then Trump gave Israel the green light to bomb Iran while publicly claiming the U.S. had nothing to do with it. And then, in the span of a few days, Trump told everyone to evacuate Tehran, said he preferred the friendly path, bombed Iran, threatened more attacks, floated regime change, and announced a ceasefire that caught even his own aides by surprise.
President Trump announced a ceasefire agreement that took many people by surprise.
The draft, it was interesting. I just read the draft about 2 minutes before we went on the air. It was a little bit different from what the president had showed me a couple of hours ago. But again, I knew that he was working the phones as I was on the way over here. He's always working. He doesn't say, you know, the vice president's going to do an interview, so I'm going to stop doing anything.
Vance is like a dad who keeps getting calls from his kid's school. Look, I'm sorry, I was at work. What did he do? Well, I'm in meetings all day. Brock doesn't call me and say, hey, Dad, I'm going to let the class gerbil out during volleyball practice. Remember, J.D. Vance doesn't go on Fox News to tell us what the president is thinking. J.D. Vance goes on Fox News to remind the president he exists. I'm surprised every interview doesn't end with him waving and saying, hi, Donald, it's me, J.D., remember me? I didn't kill the Pope, I just had bad timing. The situation was so chaotic and uncoordinated that no one knew what was happening, including elected officials on Capitol Hill, who are the only ones who actually have the constitutional authority to declare war.
We don't know what's true and what's not at this point. I already have received classified information. I'm a member of the House Intelligence Committee, and we were in briefings today. We don't know what's fact from fiction at this point. There are still reports of bombings and strikes in Tehran. We don't know the origin of that, so we have to see how this plays out.
We're now living in a world where members of Congress are as clueless as we are. You know those fundraising emails we're always getting? Soon the subject lines are going to say, help, I don't know what's going on. Do you? So no one knew whether the war was ongoing or ending. Meanwhile, the president was laser focused on one thing, naming it the 12-day war.
The president posting on Truth Social, in all caps, congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire.
I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war.
And I'd like to congratulate our new sponsors, thanks to whom we will now be referring to it as the Nacho Cheese Doritos Locos Tacos Supreme 12-Day War, brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. Also, don't give a name to a war you're in, because it kind of makes it look like that's why you started the war. It's like he poked his head into Pete Hegseth's office and said, I was thinking 12-Day War is a cool name. Could we use that for something? And then Hegseth said, yeah, but what? We don't have a 12-day war. And then Trump said, right, but what if we? Of course, the most unbelievable part of that bit is Trump popping his head in to see Hegseth. I mean, can you imagine? Knock, knock. Hey, Pete, just wanted to see how are things going in the military. So Trump claimed there was a ceasefire in the war he started. Now, most normal human beings might think to themselves, you don't get credit for cleaning up your own mess unless you're under the age of 5. But for Trump supporters, this supposed ceasefire was the single greatest achievement of any president ever.
Rather than 34 felony counts, President Trump may end up with 34 Nobel Peace Prizes. That was for the leftists. So you can clip this and make it go viral and go nuts.
Well, joke's on you. We're on at 1 in the morning, which is the opposite of viral. That clip is going to go bacterial. The funniest part of that clip is that in order to say the thing about the 34 Nobels, she had to remind everyone of Trump's 34 felony counts. That's not a good idea. Also, a Nobel doesn't erase a felony count. When Obama won his in 2009, he didn't say, oh, the best part is now I can knock over a liquor store. So Trump scrapped the deal we had in the first place, then illegally bombed Iran, and now he wants credit for stopping the thing he started. Well, I guess we have no choice but to start clearing room in the Oval Office for those 34 Nobel Peace Prizes.
As soon as the announcement was made, as the president said, Israel increased its attacks on Tehran. A lot of attacks overnight, Tehran firing back at Israel. After the time the deadline expired, another exchange there.
But he already named it! Although Trump is so stubborn, he wouldn't rename the war. He'd just add a new one. And if it's a sequel, they'd have to call it the Doritos Locos Tacos Supreme presents the 12-Day War, brought to you by Rocket Mortgage Part 2, the 1-Day War, brought to you by Crunchy Cheddar Jalapeno Cheetos. It ain't easy being cheesy. Then, after losing his mind in a series of all-caps posts begging everyone to respect the ceasefire, or as it's now known, Velveeta Cheesefire, Trump claimed Israel would turn its fighter jets around.
President Trump just posted on Truth Social. He says Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States.
What the hell is a friendly plane wave? Everything in Trump's mind is Thomas the Tank Engine. He thinks the fighter jets have eyes and a mouth that say, hello, neighbor, unless, they fly too close to each other. Then they say, now, I want to be clear. As we've said before, ceasefires are good ideas, and we should have more of them. In fact, there are a few places that jump to mind immediately. But considering those have been going on for longer than 12 days, the president is less interested in putting the work in to achieve those ceasefires. We shouldn't be starting
unnecessary and illegal wars of choice in the first place. But unfortunately, we don't know what this administration wants or what it believes because
they don't know what the they're doing.
This has been a closer look.